Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. And really delighted to welcome you all to this fifth, believe we're doing this for 5 times, in a series of informal broadcast chats and interviews with interesting guests and personalities called In Conversation With, hosted by myself, Michael McGrath, on behalf of the Muscle Help Foundation charity. We're going to find out if 60 minutes is indeed enough time for today's episode. Could be interesting. And whether Take That are going to get a plug, and who knows, there may even be some chatter about meatballs. But I can assure you that there is no red chair. So the mission of these conversations is simply to help our community of muscle warriors across the country feel less isolated, less alone, and more connected and engaged. Plus, you know what? We always have some fun. I know that many of you are still shielding. For me today, Friday, the 10th of July, it's day 121. And I know that because of COVID-19, many of you are still quite understandably feeling anxious and fearful for the future. And as I said in previous episodes, you know what? It's really hard. It's difficult. But, you know, we push on and we find a way to keep going. And certainly as a small charity, we remain absolutely determined. We remain steadfast and unwavering in our commitment to continue our efforts, operating, yes, indeed, in a different way, but focusing in bringing a little joy and magic through our Muscle Dream interventions to the homes of our beneficiaries across the country. And, you know, we're working really hard in reaching out, in bringing our tribe of muscle warriors, our community together, having relevant conversations that hopefully enlighten, support, and inspire a little. Conversations that I know can also be, as I said earlier, a lot of fun. And today is no exception. And speaking of fun, before I introduce our guests, yes, we have a treat for you all today, as we have not one, but two special guests. A few quick housekeeping points. Firstly, a little safeguarding note. You know, as before we've said, we have eyes over the broadcast, so if any inappropriate comments or behaviors are observed, action will be taken. And secondly, all episodes are being streamed and recorded for posterity on the Muscle Help Foundation's Facebook and YouTube channels, and you can check back at any time. And as always, you're all invited, please, to get involved, comment, like, share, follow, and subscribe. So, life, laughter, love, and lockdown. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Naomi and Leah show. So, without further ado, I'm thrilled to welcome our two VIP guests. So, if I told you that in terms of our two guests here, Naomi and Leah, welcome both.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks very much.
That's okay. I know that your pick of movies, you guys mix it up with Shawshank Redemption and 10 Things I Hate About You with, is it Julia Stiles? I caught the trailer on YouTube earlier. And Mamma Mia with the American romantic comedy fantasy film Practical Magic, starring Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, I believe. You know what? That just might give everyone who's tuning in this afternoon a perspective or two, a few clues perhaps about our two guests. But you'll have to guess over the next hour or so which one likes what film. And wait for it, I also happen to know that their all-time favorite tunes are Never Forget by Take That, allegedly their dedicated party song, and I Love You Always Forever by Donna Summer, which I think one of them is wanting to be played in 2022, because a little birdie tells me there's a very special occasion taking place in 2022. And who might that be?
That will be me.
So that's a very special welcome to Leah and to Naomi. Thank you so much for joining us. So we all made it to Friday, ladies. We've made it to Friday. Whew. How are you both doing today?
Really well, thank you.
Yeah, going well. It's been a busy day. It's nice to see the sunshine out a little bit.
So come on, let's kick off this afternoon's conversation with a nice, open, gentle question. How did you guys meet?
Oh, Well, it was, is it 5 years this year?
September 2015.
Yeah, long time ago. We both went on our muscle dream together, provided by Muscle Health Foundation, and we met because of you, Michael, and the charity.
What muscle dream was that, Leah?
That was our flying experience. We got to fly a plane and not crash it, so that was good.
That's great. So you both experienced level flight, I understand. Would that be a fair comment?
Gnomes?
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I love that photo too. That's my favourite one of the whole day, I think.
Yeah, the silhouette photo is very good, isn't it?
Yeah, didn't I make you go first? I think I made you go first.
You did make me go first, yeah, because you were too chicken to do it. And I'd only known you for, what?
A day?
A day, and you was already telling me what to do.
Very good. And those pictures there, they bring back lots of good memories, don't they? They really do.
I know.
5 years ago.
Wow.
I know. Oh, look. There's my family. Oh, gosh, it does bring back so many memories. And what a hot, lovely day it was. And very nice pilot, too, I must say.
Leah, enough of the pilot. I've got to dive in here, ladies, because, Leah, you're handling the plane there superbly. Hands on the controls, taking... you're flying level flight there, courtesy of Aerobility,
Yes.
one of our partners that we deliver the program with. That's absolutely great. And can you remember the name of the pilot, Leah?
Anton.
Well done.
Wow. I don't know how I remember. I think it's because he's French.
Very good. Did he exchange sunglasses with you or something? I remember.
I think
Was that you, Noms?
That was
Yeah.
Very good. Was there another picture that we can show? Naomi. Yeah, what's going on there, Naomi?
Oh, wow.
Are you flying?
I wasn't flying the
plane
plane at that point.
What's going on there, Naomi?
I was just taking pictures of the view whilst he was flying it at that point.
Very good. Very good. Is there? I think we got another pic. I don't know if we got another. Oh my goodness! Yes.
Oh gosh.
Come on, Leah. What's going on there?
Well, this is going to sound a bit thingy, but the fireman gave me his hose, but I didn't realise how powerful it was. Like, I didn't realise how strong it was. And as soon as he turned it on, I was like almost all over the place, nearly drenched everyone through. But yeah, it was amazing. I felt, and the helmet was very heavy too, and it didn't do much for my hair, but it was a fantastic time. I loved it.
Oh, Naomi. Very good. And I know that you drenched the whole of Farnborough Airport, I think, by the sounds of it, but we had a lot of fun. And you know what? It was just lovely to see, I think it was 3 or 4 families come together on that particular Flying Muscle Dream program back in 2015. And oh my goodness.
That's my mother.
So if there was a little bubble and a little quote, what do you think your mum might be saying there, Leah?
I think she likes the power. I think that's what it is. She likes the power and the control.
Very good. Very, very good. So if we move on with the conversation, it's great to see those pictures. That really brings back some great memories, doesn't it? For all of us. But I just wanted to ask, maybe, how has lockdown changed the way that you guys live your lives day to day and your families? How's lockdown been for you both?
Do you want to go first, Noms?
I'll go first. I think it's made me realise that I appreciate the simple things more, and I realise I don't need anything materialistic anymore just to make me happy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like the other night we were the internet went down, which is another lockdown in itself. And me and David and my carer just found ourselves playing cards. Just a simple pack of cards from the pound shop, and it was probably one of the best nights we've had during lockdown because it was just so in the moment, and you just, it was one of those moments that you forgot about everything because there is so much bad going on. And it was nice to just have a moment that was just so normal. And like Naomi said, I just don't material things just don't appeal to me anymore. It's time with the family that has become really precious.
Yeah, it makes you pinpoint what's more important, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Wine.
What do you think about, you know, when the phrase everyone's saying, you know, we're all in this together? I mean, I think that, you know, the common thing that you've both mentioned is the importance of family, and just how important family is right now to in fact our whole community.
Yeah, I mean, I know Naomi lives at home with her family, and for me, it's been very hard because I haven't been able to see a lot of my family because my dad is still working, he's a key worker. So I think I've seen my dad 3 times in 4 months, which has been very hard. And David was locked down with his grandma in Gainsborough, so I didn't see my own fiance for 3 months. But it's amazing how you cope, the resilience that you find that you didn't think you had, you know, and the fact that me and David are stronger now than what we ever have been now that he's back with me, because we understand the things that are most important in a relationship. It's not the going out for fancy meals and, you know, the going out for days out. It's just about actually being there and having that contact with your family. So I think, yeah, it's been hard to see family. But when we have seen them, it's made those moments much more special.
Couldn't agree more. Makes you appreciate people a lot more, doesn't it?
Little question coming through already. Questions are flooding through already, and we're only 13 minutes into the conversation. Can't believe it. A question from Emma. I think this is Naomi's friend. You know, how did you cope not seeing your friends and your partners?
I think because you don't have a choice, kind of makes it better in a way. And so I've used Zoom so much. Me and Leah, we've had parties over Zoom. I mean, Zoom quizzes, you know. It's a really good way of keeping in touch with people. Social media is so essential at the moment.
How did you keep your friendship, you know, so strong during lockdown? Just out of interest. You know, what has lockdown made you kind of both, you know, appreciate more, maybe?
I think we've actually spoken more during lockdown than we normally would. I think it's made people encourage people to check in on them more because we're all in uncertain times, you know.
Yeah, I think also with me and my friends, we've created a group chat now for my goddaughter who's just turned 2 and we missed her 2nd birthday. And I think I actually get more pictures and videos of her and actually get to FaceTime more with her than what I would if I was going over to see her. And, you know, and like I said, it's about you finding different ways to maintain relationships. And I think that's, in some ways it's challenging, but in other ways I find it quite refreshing to find different ways of doing things, to be a little bit more out of the box. Like I said, we had our party over FaceTime, well, over Zoom. Well, it started off as a Zoom family quiz, and then it kind of ended up into a big, massive party with music and drinking and all sorts. But you know, it's probably just as good as when we. Yeah,
brilliant,
amazing.
Great. So, hey, a few little messages coming through. Lucy says, absolutely love Practical Magic, the movie. So there's a little thing there for Lucy. And another question coming through, just in terms of how important it is to have a girlfriend who you can empathize with. You know, empathy, that really important attribute.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, obviously, even though me and Naomi are at different ages, I think in terms of, you know, where we are at in our lives is very similar. And I think there's certain things that having Naomi with the same disability that we can understand and we can moan about to each other and we can discuss with each other that no one else can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have certain connections just because of the fact we've got the same disability and we know what we're both going through.
Yeah. And plus we are very, very similar in personality as well.
Really? Question for Naomi. So Naomi, you know, what's the hardest thing, you know, what have you missed most during lockdown?
I think not having the freedom to go out and about, because I can't stay still for 2 seconds. I love being out and about. But I think I'm quite lucky to have a garden and the weather was quite nice, so that's really good. I obviously miss friends and family, just meeting up for a coffee. I love the simple things.
Yeah.
I love volunteering. I used to do once a week. I miss that. But yeah, I've made some new hobbies during lockdown, which is good.
Yeah. Very good. And just for our viewers' benefit, Naomi, you're down in Dorset, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dorset, and then completely the other side of the country, like way up north of Watford. Where are you exactly, Leah?
I'm in Blackburn in Lancashire, so about 40 minutes from Manchester.
Excellent. Very good. There's a little message coming here from Hayden. Social media is a blessing until the connection freezes or completely cuts off. Well, absolutely. Anyway, another question for Leah. So, Leah, what was the first thing that you remember about Naomi?
First thing was the hair. Like,
Right.
I was immediately really jealous of the hair because I just thought it was just beautiful. And then, I don't know, it was weird as soon as, because obviously Michael said to me, go over and speak to this girl, Naomi. So I was like, okay. And as soon as Naomi opened her mouth, it was like, I don't know, the friendship I felt immediately was a bit beyond words. It was kind of like, and it wasn't just me and Naomi that clicked. It was Naomi's mum and my mum and Naomi's dad and my sister. And, you know, the whole family just clicked. And we realised that, you know, the friendship was something special. But yeah, I just remember her accent. You have got an accent, darling. You have. And I remember just, you know, she just seemed very happy and bubbly and lively like me. And that was quite nice to see.
Another little thing, Leah, that you're going to be jealous about, other than Naomi's hair, was Naomi's beautiful nails. Naomi, let us see those amazing nails of yours up to the camera. Now look very closely. Hold those still. Now that is dedication and loyalty to the Muscle Warrior tribe. And I tell you what, if there are any other ladies around the country, that is an amazing example that you're setting, Naomi. And you know what? We're going to get those nails trending because that is amazing. Just amazing commitment to the tribe. Absolute respect.
And don't forget the sign behind you as well, Norm.
Oh, the sign, yes. Muscle Warrior 657. I love it. Absolute dedication. Fantastic. So I'm going to throw that same question to Naomi. So what was the first thing that you remember, Naomi, about Leah?
I remember turning around. You were behind us, I think, in the lobby when we were waiting.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we went to do. And yeah, I remember that whole day, really. We just connected straight away. And we kind of spent the whole day together, didn't we? And then that evening we sat together at dinner. And
yeah, I think that's when we got a bit giddy.
So I'll just go and get a coffee and leave you two ladies to chatter. We'll come back at 5.
Great.
So another question here for both of you, actually. Who are your female heroes? Maybe you've got one female hero each that you can share, or role models, perhaps, for other young women, either in this country or globally, because we have a global audience today.
Oh. I mean, I think for me, in terms of heroes and role models, it's probably cheesy, but it's going to have to be my mum. You know, I mean, I know she might not be famous, everyone might not know her, but to me, it's just seeing the resilience she's had over the years, going through so much, seeing me in hospital, being extremely poorly, having to, you know, struggle to get me what I need in life, and having to raise other children, and, you know, have a husband, and you know, the amount of things that she's sacrificed in order to make my life what it is today. You know, that level of sacrifice is above and beyond anything. And you know, I think if I'm ever half the person that my mother is in life, then I'd be completely happy, because she really is the hero of my life.
Is your mum tuning in this afternoon?
She's at the hospital at the moment, I believe. She's fine, don't worry. But she's going to watch it back later.
Good.
Yeah, mine's going to watch it back later.
Well, do say hello to your mum when she's back. But a little question here from Hayden. So he was asking a question about, are there any major advances in terms of treatment of spinal muscular atrophy? Because I know that you both have SMA type 2. Is that right?
Yeah.
So when you kind of look back to the last 25, 30 years and where we are today and to the future, what are your hopes and aspirations?
And over the last few years, there's been quite a lot of advancement in that. So hopefully in the next few years, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
With the spin rosa, definitely there's been, the new medical treatment out there. There's been a lot of good positive results with that. But I think, for me, and I know for Naomi as well, we really do hope for a treatment in the future. We really do. But I think for us, it's about focusing on the life that we have got and, making sure that we do everything that we can now. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, there might be something that comes along and miraculously makes me run a marathon. Not that I will, but it could. But, it's just about hopes and aspirations. If there's treatment, get it. If not, to live the best life that we possibly can.
Yeah.
There's a number of comments coming through about just how amazing, your mums are, and just the role that mums play in families, especially at this time. I've been chatting to a lot of our community, and, the role of mums is a common denominator with so many families. And, I can hear that loud and clear with regard to your respective families. Just remind me, guys, do you have brothers and sisters?
Mm-hmm.
One brother, one sister.
Yeah.
I have two sisters.
Are you supporting them through lockdown, or are they supporting you, or how does it work?
My sister's been supporting me, and my brother's been supporting me quite a lot. Yeah. It works both ways, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think me and my older sister have been supporting my little sister quite a lot, because she's mentally been struggling as she was meant to be working abroad, and she's lost her job. So I think she's been struggling quite a lot. So we've just been trying to keep her spirits up during all of this. I've been coping better than what I expected, but it is handy because one of my sisters is a carer, so I can still see my sister on a regular basis, and so I think I've been a bit more fortunate than a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if you ladies had a message for carers across the country, what would that be, out of interest?
I mean, I know for me it's thank you. I know it's obviously been extremely hard because they're not only putting themselves at risk, they're putting their families at risk in a scary environment. And it's nice to know that they've realised that my disability doesn't stop just because there's a global pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm still in need of that care. And it's been nice that, I've been really fortunate that every single one of my carers has remained working throughout. And, so yeah, it's been a huge thank you from me.
Naomi, did you want to add anything to that?
Thank you. My mum's my main carer, so
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't do what we do without the love and support of our carers, and I couldn't do what I do without the love and support of my wife Susie and my daughter Gemma and my son-in-law Jake, and that family network, that support network is so important. So just moving the conversation along a little bit, Naomi, question for you. Why do you think, there's been a lot talked about in terms of social media in our worlds and in society generally, and why do you think social media is perhaps so important, so essential, at this particular moment in time?
Yeah, I think it's become a lifeline for quite a lot of people over the last few months. It's enabled families and friends to stay in touch. You can still see each other even if it is virtually.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said that I've found I've used it more now than I did before. And I think because we're going through such uncertain times, it encourages people to keep in touch with their families and friends. It's so essential being nearer to keep in touch.
Oh yeah.
We only see each other once or twice a year, so social media is so important.
Leah, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think as well during this pandemic, it's because it's safe as well. in terms of, physically safe. You're not at any risk. So, speaking to your family and friends, you can maintain the mental health support that you need and the mental health connections, but you're not putting your physical well-being in any danger. And I think that's very, very important. And as well, I know my doctors started doing Skype appointments. So you can still speak to the doctor via Skype and, telephone conversations with hospitals and doctors. And I think that's extremely important because, like you said, things don't stop just because this virus is out there. And I think social media is a very good way of making sure that people still get the support they need from the health services.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on. I think it is about reassurance. We've all probably had appointments where we had to go to hospitals and bits and pieces, and it's just that reassurance, isn't it, to know that all the protocols are in place. But a quick question there for you both, in terms of what do you think we should not be going back to? What should we not be doing when we come through this? And we will come through this, and we need to hold on to hope and believe that there will be a vaccine, and I'm sure there will be because there's some very bright minds on it. But what are we going to kind of say bye-bye to, and what are we going to retain? Just out of interest, what do you think?
I mean, I think one thing that I'll always be more aware of now is people's decisions and respect people's decisions to not shake hands, to not hug, to not kiss. You have to respect each other's decisions with that because you don't understand how somebody else's body might react to those germs or viruses or things that you might be unknowingly carrying. So I think something you have to do is be very cautious now about who you do touch. If it's a loved one, and that's fine, but I wouldn't possibly anymore go up to a stranger and give them a hug without express permission. And which for me is very hard because I am a huggy person. But
really,
it's about, but it's just about being respectful. And I must admit though, I can't wait for the one-way system in Asda to go because that's really annoying.
I couldn't agree more.
Isn't it annoying? I got told off for going down the wrong one today, but what I wanted was right at the top of the aisle.
And just out of how many are you monitoring? Out of interest, are you both monitoring, like how many days you've been shielding?
I haven't actually. I counted how many days I was away from my boyfriend.
Okay.
80.
Oh gosh,
yeah. But I haven't been.
I was about 80, but I think I'm on about 115 now, something like that. But I have been out once or twice in between, so I don't know if that cancels it out and I have to start again. I'm not sure.
I know it doesn't. I mean, it's so hard, isn't it, for everyone? It's good to keep almost like a little diary of either day to day or week to week or even month to month. The just how you're coping and how you're feeling, and what things things to look forward to, or the kinds of distractions that we all need, don't we? We all need to help us along and just keep pushing along as we get through this thing, and we will get through it. I absolutely believe it.
Well,
So.
Oh, definitely.
I've just got another question coming through, which is, can you tell us about the t-shirts you're wearing, please, ladies?
Can you see?
Go on, Nose.
Muscle warriors, if you can see. This is actually the shirt that we got from the day we met, the Flying Dreams experience. And my wristband as well. Yeah.
So those. What does it say on the wristband?
On the side, it has the very important hashtag power of 657.
What's that all about?
Do you want to explain, Noms?
657 is the amount of dreams that the charity wishes to create, and it's also the number of muscles in the body. Spot on.
I'm loving the fact that you've kept those t-shirts looking so good. That's great respect. Quick question here coming through from Jordan. How do you find? So now we're going to talk a little bit about the world of work. Okay. I was on a webinar actually a couple of nights ago. This was one of the topics in terms of the world of work, the world of employment, how does somebody with a disability, find a job? How are you? What are you doing in the world of work at the moment? How are you finding it?
I volunteer at the moment. My mental hospital.
Yes.
I'm a reminiscence volunteer, so I talk to dementia patients and get them to reminisce and try and get them chatting. I love that. It's really hard to find a job though, but one day hopefully.
What's the ambition, Naomi?
I mean, anything at the moment, to be fair.
Can I just say, I think the work that you're doing with those, as a volunteer, what you've just
something
described,
like that for a job would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. But the support that you're providing is absolutely awesome. So, absolute respect to you. And, volunteers for many organizations are the lifeblood of those organizations. So, keep doing what you're doing. Keep being the wonderful person that you are, and keep listening to those people that you're engaging and talking to and communicating and connecting with. It's so important. And you will find your path, no doubt about that.
Well,
Leah, what was your perspective?
I think, like Naomi, I've done a lot of different volunteering, which has been extremely rewarding in its own rights. And I've also done paid work, both part-time and full-time. The one thing I found is that most of the jobs that I've done are within either the health or disability sector. And I think that's because we understand our needs more in terms of employment. It can be very hard to find a normal 9-to-5 job, as they say. But then again, I suppose that'd be pretty boring. I like keeping it entertaining. I love the work that I do with different charities. I mean, the work that I've done with yourselves as Muscle Warriors and different charities has taken me around the country. I've even spoken in Parliament, things that I never thought I would do. So sometimes the volunteer work is much more rewarding than anything else.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Leah, what were you mentioned that you were speaking in Parliament. So tell us about that.
So I was speaking with one of the other national charities that I work alongside, and basically we had a all-party parliamentary meeting, which is basically all the different members of Parliament from different parties all to come together to try and create a common cause. And ours was around the laws around disability living allowance and the ages in which you can claim it and what you can claim it for. And I met Ed Miliband in a lift. That's my new claim to fame. But yes, it was extremely rewarding, and I'm very pleased to say we got very far, and everyone was really receptive, and me along with some other people with similar conditions. It was just a great time and a great experience that, like I said, 90% of the general public would never ever get to do.
I wondered if the PM jumped in on our conversation this afternoon, what would you have to say to him?
In all fairness, I think he is trying to do what's best, but I do feel that I think in some ways he's been a little bit harshly judged because it's a completely unprecedented circumstance, and we all think we could handle it better, but would we in this actual situation? And I do think that, I'd like to say I take personal responsibility for myself a lot as well. We can't leave everything down to the government. We have to take personal responsibility for ourselves in this. So, while he might not be someone I would have voted for, I do believe he's doing the best that he can, and I will keep doing my part as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, some more questions coming through. So, a question for both of you. So, are you goal setters? Are you women that are writing lists and setting goals, weekly, monthly, daily? Are you goal centric out of interest?
I don't write lists, but in my head I have certain goals. If I want to lose a bit of weight or something like that. I mean, I'd love to move out one day. That's a goal. Maybe learn to drive. That's definitely a goal one day, to be more independent. But yeah, I set little goals for myself in my head.
Yeah.
And I reach them like that.
Am I right in thinking that there's a little birdie told me that one of your goals this month was to cook up a pot of meatballs.
Meatballs, I heard.
Meatballs.
Meatballs.
How did that come into the conversation?
I need to cook some meatballs. I need to invite some friends around, have some meatballs.
So, Leah, do you want to pass comment on meatballs?
Yeah, me and David are planning a meatball date night.
I think for our audience, people should know you've mentioned David a few times. So
David is my fiance.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Is David tuning this afternoon?
He's in the other room. He's working at the moment. But David is the reason I don't make goals anymore. In a very positive way, if you let me explain, that if someone had said to me a year ago, David was not my goal, you know what I mean? I had a very different idea where my life was going, and all of a sudden it popped up out of nowhere, and now we live each day as it comes. And so, yeah, he's the reason I don't do goals anymore.
Very, very good. So so Lucy's just jumped on and sort of asking, let's have a look. Have either of you discovered anything about yourselves that you maybe wouldn't have had there not been a lockdown? Great question, Lucy.
Great question, Lucy.
Yeah. Have either of you discovered anything about
materialistic things for me?
Say that again, Naomi.
I think again, the materialistic things for me. Going shopping all the time, buying clothes, wearing makeup all the time. But during lockdown, I haven't done any of that, and I'm much happier without it, to be honest.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. Leah?
I've learned that I'm really good at blackjack. Yeah,
right.
Very good at it. Like Naomi, I've learned that I'm happier in my skin if I don't try to overdo it.
Yeah.
If I just be me, and I've actually been happier in my trackies and my hoodies and just chilling out and having a good time than dressing up and going for fancy meals. I've learned that I'm a lot more simple life than what I used to be.
Yeah, I think that's right there is a message I think that applies to a lot of families around just breaking it down, and just that simple thing of coming together with our families over some food and supporting each other, being there for each other, and just focusing on the things that actually really matter.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of a little question coming through here, which is, let's have a look. This is about being a muscle warrior in terms of kind of the spirit associated with being a muscle warrior, being part of the tribe. What does that mean to you guys? Sick question.
I think for me, it's another family. I mean, I know that no matter what I'm going through, it's lovely that you and Sue are always checking in on us, and it's lovely that I've met Naomi, who's a lifelong friend, and being part of the Muscle Warriors is being part of a family. A lot of beneficiaries we're now friends with on Facebook, and we talk and we chat and we reminisce and we speak. So it's creating that community beyond just the experience, beyond that day or that weekend. It's something much more in depth than that.
Yeah, Naomi, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't have met Leah without you, really. I don't know, definitely made a new family, haven't we?
Yeah, that's really lovely to hear. Really, really wonderful to hear. What message would you give to others that perhaps aren't yet part of the Muscle Warrior tribe, or maybe haven't heard about the charity, or what would you be saying to those young people out there in the country?
Come and join. It's great. Come and support us, definitely.
Yeah, but no matter what way you could do it in, volunteering or applying for a Muscle Dream, or whatever little way it is, and as Michael said, we have a brilliant time. We are a family, and Michael's famous phrase is, "No one goes with an empty stomach." So you always get fed really well, and it's wonderful, and you laugh and you joke and you have a great time, and you're doing something that's really worthwhile that can change someone's life. I mean, I know it changed mine and Naomi's lives.
I think I have to correct you on the phrase, Leah. Nobody goes hungry on my watch.
There you go. I was close. It's been 5 years since I've heard you say it.
Very good. So what are your hopes for each other? You know, just broadening the conversation slightly. What are your hopes for each other?
I want Leah to be happily married. I know you really want a family, and that's all I want really for you, is to have your own family, your own children. I know that's what you really want.
She just wants someone to call her Auntie Naomi. That's what it is.
That's what you've always wanted. So
yeah, you know, that's lovely, Norm. Thank you. That is something I've always wanted, and I feel like that's actually getting there now. And you know, for Naomi, I wanted to just have that freedom. She's a very free spirit, and she likes going out and doing what she wants and not being, you know, tied down to things. And you know, she's got Hayden, who I must admit is the most amazing man I've ever met. Is so lovely with her, and you know, I hope that, you know, she gets to see the world the way she wants to, and she gets to achieve, you know, the job if she wants it, or you know, whatever she wants. And I just hope she's happy and healthy for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's just beautiful to hear. Really lovely to hear. Just in terms of, how did you meet Hayden, Naomi?
I met him online on Wish.
Yeah.
Nearly 3 years ago now.
Wow, 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Is he tuning? We know he's tuning in this afternoon because there's a few questions.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember the holiday in Lanzarote, and we were both single at the time. Do you remember? And we were talking about it, and you know, we're saying, "Oh, I hope we're not single forever." And you know, strolling along the beach, having a cocktail, talking about boys, and then literally as soon as I got back off the holiday, you're like, "I found one." And I was like, "Okay." Like, and then you left me in the ditch for 2 more years until I found mine. What was that all about?
And I brought him back to Lanzarote a couple of years later. He loves it.
You did.
And it's just wonderful to hear that there's such a lovely connection quite clearly, and a lovely banter quite clearly. And it's what makes it even more special is the point you made a bit earlier about the fact that both of your families have also connected, and that both families are supporting each other and you, you know, in quite a remarkable way. And it's a pretty unique and special relationship by the sounds of it.
And no matter how many months or a year goes by, whenever we meet up, it's like it's been no time at all.
It is really strange. And I know, like, you know, your mum will ask my mum advice on things, and you know, our dads are just like 2 peas in a pod with the really bad dad jokes, and they get on really well. And yeah, I do. I think it is strange that, even like I said, no matter how many miles there is between us, I feel closer to the Griffins as a family than what I do to some of my own family who live around the corner.
Yeah. No, I mean, the geography aside, it's irrelevant, isn't it, by the sounds of it? Yeah. So, okay, just moving the conversation on a little bit. So, you know, the world is a different place, is it not? Gosh, compared to where we were this time last year, you know, and where we are today. So, you know, the world has changed, and I think people have changed. And I think I'd just be interested to know what your views are in terms of how the current state of the world, you know, has perhaps affected your future plans. So kind of winding the clock forward the next, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. You know, how are you thinking about the future?
I mean, I was looking for jobs, but I mean, that's going to be quite difficult now. But I think it's amazing how quickly we adapt to things.
Yeah.
Even though it's only been a few months, I mean, we adapted so well.
Yeah, a lot of people are having to adapt, and in our situation, for the viewers, none of the viewers know that we're all sitting in our chariots, you know, but that doesn't necessarily stop us from getting out and about a little bit into our back gardens if we're blessed to have a bit of green space, and you know, doing all the things that we do. Leah, do you want to add a thought to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of my plans, it's gone from, you know, thinking of booking holidays and doing big things to, you know, just slowly getting used to seeing family again, going out, doing tiny things. The goals and the daily life has become a lot more day centered around, you know, each day rather than 6 months down the line. It's become a little bit more, well, what we're doing today, what we're doing tomorrow. Like you said, unfortunately, yeah, I don't feel like I can plan months in advance because you don't know what's happening. So it's just my plans now are just really going day to day.
Yeah. No, I understand. It is day to day, and that's good advice for anyone who's tuning in and listening. Take it one step at a time, you know.
Yeah.
And just push on. And you know, I think that's really a really great little nugget right there, Leah. Thank you for that. Hayden's jumped on. He said it's always wonderful visiting Leah's hometown, as he too had never been up north apparently.
It's not. I don't. I love how everyone says up north, like we're just one big group. We get past a certain point and we all just live in one town. It's just the north.
Yeah. So I've got another question to you both, actually. I'd like you to name perhaps just one, okay, promise me just one, really positive thing that you've both taken from the experiences of, you know, of the last 6 months or so. Just one really positive thing you've both taken. What are your thoughts?
Oh,
that's a hard one.
Family and friends a lot more.
I don't know, that's really hard. I think for me, the one thing I've taken from it is that the things that matter the most, you can't put a value on. You know what I mean? That's the most positive thing I can say, is that the things I now value the most are the things that I wouldn't have to pay for.
Simple things in life.
Yeah.
And speaking of simple things in life, a little question that's flown through here is, what car does Naomi dream of?
Oof. Wow.
Now, are we talking car as in a car that's practical for you, Naomi, or a car that you just want?
Ideally,
I'll let you decide.
Something like that. But in the real world, it would be a van, like a caddy van, like I've got now, which is a shame.
No, my dream is Michael's car. You've seen that, haven't you?
Yeah. Knight Rider.
Don't you want Michael's car? The best of both worlds.
Moving the conversation on, ladies. Jem's got a question for you. He said, you know, you ladies, you've flown a plane, okay? So you've both experienced level flight. You've taken the controls of a little Piper Warrior, appropriately named, indeed, Piper Warrior. So you've both had that experience, yeah? And I believe you both flew over George Clooney's house, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you not know that? I thought that's what you were taking pictures of.
So, and I don't know if Mr. Clooney was there or not, but hey ho, I'm sure you waved at him as the plane flew over his home. But you know, what's your next? Do you have like another little experience that you ladies would like to do? Another little adrenaline rush, perhaps? I don't know. What are you thinking?
I'm not a big adrenaline fan, but skydive. I do a skydive.
Right. Okay.
Oh.
What about you?
Okay, Leah.
See, I have two. I'd like to go gliding, which is basically flying a plane without an engine.
Yeah.
And the second one is having a baby, because I think that's a bit of an adrenaline rush, isn't it? I think that's got to be quite up there with, you know, extreme activities. So opposite ends of the spectrum, but I think they're both pretty adrenaline filled.
Are they? Fantastic. I love it. So I've got a question for you both, actually. So, you know, we're what are we, 4 months into shielding, and you know, there or thereabouts, and you know, COVID-19 is not going away, and the country is easing down. A lot of people are going back into what they consider to be their normal lives. Restaurants are beginning to open. There are incentives to go and eat in restaurants and so on. How are you feeling about that? Are you in the kind of the Tom Hanks camp, you know, where he was making an observation, a comment about people not wearing masks? What are your views, just out of interest, on how the world is, or how this country is going on?
I'm not sure if I go into a restaurant just quite yet. I'm not comfortable quite, not yet. I went to the supermarket for the first time at the weekend, and that was enough for me.
Yeah. Was that quite a scary experience?
I mean, it was busy enough. I wouldn't want any more people in there, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm very cautious of where people are. I'm like, don't come anywhere near me. Oh.
Yeah. Leah?
I think for me, because I live on my own, I've had to still be a little bit more going out and doing little things. Even though I have carers, I've had to something, I can't just say go and get bread. So it's just easier for me to go and get the bread than rather explain it. So I think in terms of it, I'm a little bit more relaxed and lenient. I'm still not like Naomi. I'm not ready for restaurants and bars and things like that. But I have had carers who I call my little scouts, who've been going to certain restaurants to see what it's like, what the procedures are, how things work, so that they report back to me and I think, oh, well, we'll go to this restaurant because they said it's very well managed, and it's, and I think that's been really helpful to me. But I'm still cautious, but I'm getting a little bit more adventurous. So I just want to go to the zoo. That's the only place I've asked to go is the zoo, because Naomi knows how much I love zoos.
Okay, I think some of the zoos are beginning to open up. I think
Chester Zoo is back open, and I'm hoping to go for my 30th birthday next month.
Okay.
Which is terrifying. So we're just hoping to book the tickets next week.
Oh, fantastic! And that was a beautiful plug for your birthday there, Leah. When is the date?
I know, right? Just don't forget.
What's the date? Just so we know.
It's the 31st of August.
And you know that's a very special date, because that's my older brother has a birthday on that date, and he's down in New Zealand. So there we are.
All the best people were born on that day.
Exactly. So somebody's pinged in a little note saying, okay, so you've done the flying. So what about first muscle warriors in space?
Yes. Oh, I'll save that for somebody else. Maybe a different muscle warrior.
I'll do it.
And Leah, would you like to do a bit of a trip up, courtesy of, I don't know, maybe we can ask Elon Musk if he can arrange for the three of us to have a little trip into space. Yeah. What about it?
I'm up for that.
I'd like to do it, but then I'd be like, what if I encounter an alien?
I'm sure it'll be a friendly alien, and it'll have a little muscle
warrior.
That's
all right then. That's fine.
It'll have a little muscle warrior wristband on his wrist. So I've got a question for you, Leah. What are Leah's favorite animals?
I have, in terms of zoo animals or all animals?
Just, zoo animals or all animals. Really.
Well, for me, it's red pandas and sloths. They are my absolute favourite animals, and obviously cats, because I have a little kitty.
And the name of the kitten?
Is called Niffler, his full name is Niffler Houdini Lucifer.
Amazing.
That is just the most wonderful name of a cat I've ever heard. You're going to have to just text it to me afterwards so I remember that name. But if there was an award for the best named cat, that would probably be a gold standard right there. Can I ask you a question? Is the environment something that's important to you? So for example, when you're brushing your teeth in the evening, do you leave the cold tap running?
No, turn it off.
No, neither. So you turn the tap off, brush your teeth, turn the tap back on. Well done. Water's a precious commodity, isn't it?
I've become lately very environmentally conscious. I think it's something that we have to do now, or else we're not going to have time to do it in the future. And like I said, it isn't hard. No one's asking you to put 10,000 solar panels on your house. It's like I said, those little things like turning the tap off and making sure you recycle properly, and buying homegrown foods, more organic foods from local shops. it's simple things, and I found I've really enjoyed it. I've got a better shopping experience going to little farmers markets and things too.
Love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good. I think so there's another question. How do you feel? Okay, this is an interesting one. How do you feel when you're out and about and people look at you and they stare at you kind of during your day-to-day, going around wherever you are, in the street, for example? How does that make you feel? Are you conscious of the fact that people are looking because you're in your chariot? Does it bother you or not?
It bothers me when it's an adult. I don't mind when it's children, but when it's adults looking, it does bother me. But I never do anything about it. I always just ignore it. I'm not brave enough to go up and say anything to them. But it does bother me.
Do you think people are still? I mean, Leah, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, like Naomi said, in terms of kids, it's a case of they're learning, they're understanding, they're developing. I have no problem with anyone asking me any questions about anything. I'll say as long as it's something you would ask a normal like an able-bodied person. Don't ask me how I go to the toilet and things. That's just weird. But in terms of children, it doesn't bother me. Adults, I think as I've got older, I've learned to not ignore it, but be able to understand better that they're not being rude. I think there's just a lack of understanding or maybe some ignorance on people's parts, because not everybody has grown up so visibly around it like we have. But I mean, there's been occasions where I have said things to people, and I think it affects my family more than me. So my sister or David or the carers are more likely to say something to somebody than what I am, because I just get on with my life. I don't have time for it. You know what I mean? I've got other things to do.
Where were you ladies in 2012 with the Paralympics?
I was sat at home watching the Paralympics.
I went to see the sailing at Weymouth.
Okay, how was that?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, fantastic. What do you remember most from that moment, that experience?
It was absolutely incredible. We sat on the beach, there was crowds, it was big screens of the sailing going on. It's absolutely amazing. I'd love to have gone to London.
Hey, how wonderful would that be if we could just all sit on a beach somewhere and feel comfortable, feel reassured, no one's going to come running up to you or whatever, and we're just enjoying being on the beach.
Yeah.
Have you got nice beaches down Dorset way, haven't you?
Definitely. Yeah, I've got some lovely beaches.
Yeah, Leah's nodding. Have you been to the
I'm most jealous of. I miss the beaches down there so much, and all the little cafes and ice cream shops and the Jurassic Coast and crab picking. I just miss it all. I need to come back.
So come on then. Ice creams to one side. What's the first thing that you're going to do when you see each other again at some point in the not too distant future, I'm sure?
Should we say something sensible, or should we say alcohol like it will be?
Something sensible.
It will be
sensible.
Fine party.
Yeah, it'll probably be a lot of hugging, and when we can hug, and it'll be a lot of catching up and a lot of family meals and wine and just enjoying each other's company again, I think.
Yeah,
it's really lovely to hear. It's important, isn't it? You're human beings. We are social animals, aren't we? And we need that connection. And I can, that point is so well made. We all need a hug, that's for sure. And we need each other. We just, I was talking to somebody recently about screen fatigue. And here we are chatting on a screen. I'm not fatigued at all. I'm not going there in the conversation. Okay, we can keep going. But here's another thought. So kind of looking back on your lives so far, okay, and knowing what you now know, right? Stay with it. What advice would you give to your younger self?
I think not to be peer pressured. So many people have been keeping on at me to learn to drive and things like that. And I think just tell myself, do it when you're ready. You don't have to listen to When anyone else has to tell you what to do, do when you're ready. Don't be peer pressuring or anything. Just relax.
Yeah.
They happen when they happen.
Yeah, it's a beautiful answer. Leah?
I think for me, there can be a lot of pressure put on us to sort of achieve milestones that everybody else achieves. And I think it's about learning to overcome that. And like I said, do things at your own pace. Don't submit to that pressure, because the perfect lives that you see of other people out there aren't always perfect. You'll get where you need to get when you get there. And it's okay to do that, and it's okay to not back down and push for what you want and what you believe in, and just be you.
That is be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Be you.
It took me a long time to learn that, longer than what it probably should have done, but once you learn it, life's never the same again.
That's wise words. So as we come to the end of our In Conversation with episode 5, I've got another little question for you both. All right. So I'd like you to think about this one carefully, but what is the most important thing about your friendship?
I think knowing that we're always there for each other, no matter what. To listen to each other, to give advice. Because I feel like Leah's the only one who really knows what I go through day to day. And she's always there just whenever I need her.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think for me, the most important thing is all the little things put together. The fact that we're friends is kind of a moot point now. That's just a given. We're not going anywhere. We're stuck with each other. But it's just the fact that, we're always there for each other, and we can always guide each other and support each other. And, we can ask each other the questions that we probably wouldn't dream of asking anybody else.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's a very special thing to hear, and all I would say to you both is cherish your friendship. As the years tick by, cherish your friendship, and it's just wonderful to hear. So I'm going to say a huge thanks to Naomi and Leah for being such fantastic guests. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that conversation, and I hope you both did as well. And if I could invite you both to give us your best muscle warrior salute, please, and hold it for 3 and big smile. Brilliant stuff. You know what? And I was going to say to you both, if people want to reach out and contact you, presumably they can reach out, I don't know, via Facebook. They can find you on Facebook, or if you prefer, they can contact the charity, and we'll happily, obviously, make the connection back to you both. And before we finish up, I would like to get everyone's feedback. So please head to the charity's Facebook page, where you'll find a Survey Monkey link. 30 seconds of your time. Any comments, please, so that we can improve the broadcast experience going forwards. That would be absolutely brilliant. And thank you. And if you enjoyed today's episode, today's conversation, or indeed past episodes, I'd be so grateful if you might consider making a small donation in support of the Muscle Health Foundation charity's work. You know what? Every penny counts, and you'll be helping us, expand our virtual efforts in supporting our community. And again, thank you so much. And for those that wish to volunteer and wish to perhaps fundraise for us, or perhaps you may be able to assist us during these testing times, these challenging times, by, for example, helping the charity cultivate new donor relationships, or if there's someone that that may be good for us to speak to about our work and our impact, that may be able to help us on our COVID-19 repurposed mission, please head to musclehelp.com, message us, talk to us, and let's see if we can make a connection. For our beneficiaries and our families that have tuned in this Friday afternoon, do you know what? We'll always be stronger together. Please reach out with your suggestions as to how the charity can support you at this time. And if you've any suggestions or ideas for future guests and or personalities, Naomi and Leah, if you've got any suggestions of many of the celebrities that you guys know maybe, or other interesting people that would like to be part of our In Conversation series going forwards, please, we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch and let us know. And finally, a little drum roll, sound effect, drum roll. Be sure that you tune in for episode 6 on Friday, the 24th of July. There's the diary date alert. So when back by popular demand, my favorite son-in-law, Jake, will be in conversation with the man who is primarily responsible for the creation of The Stig, the former exec producer of the Top Gear show, who today is the exec producer of the Grand Tour that I know so many of our Muscle Warrior beneficiaries and families are entertained by. The British motoring TV series created by Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, James May, and our 6th In Conversation with guest, Andy Willman. And I understand that Andy was afflicted by the COVID-19 pandemic, but thankfully has made a full recovery, which is fantastic. So we're really, really delighted that he's agreed to join us in a couple of weeks' time. An episode, ladies and gentlemen, not to be missed. So for now, on behalf of Naomi and Leah and Jeremy sitting there in the background, and Grace and Kate and Gemma, for everyone, stay strong, stay safe, stay well, and until next time, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Thank you, and bye-bye.